Good afternoon, one and all. It's live at the waterhole time again. My name is Ben Coley. I will be with you for the next 2 hours as we enjoy all of the wonderful cameras thanks to Wild Earth and Africam. And we've started off in Safari Hook in Namibia, which is a lovely waterhole, a relatively new addition. And what a great way to start with a beautiful reflection of two massive elephant bulls considering a drink by the looks of it. We shall see what their plans are here and at our other local for the next couple of hours. And don't forget, as always, it's live, it's interactive. I'm here to answer any of your questions, share some of your comments. So we would love to hear from you. I always enjoy hearing where you are joining us from and watching. And questions you can do to me, the better. That's a good chance for me to exercise my brain. And it's always amazing the amount of questions that you guys come up with, to which I have absolutely no idea about, but it gives me something to research, which I very much enjoy doing. But how about this for a start? It's a couple of beautiful boys with a desolate landscape out in Namibia, obviously traditionally a very dry area, although here in the Hoedspruit region, where I am broadcasting from, I am delighted to inform you that we did have a bit of a storm last night. And some rain, not much, only a few mils, but we've had a few mils relatively regularly over the last couple of days. And the bushes already pond, the little Drakensberg Mountains to my west, I noticed today, have already got a little bit of a sort of a green wash to them. And have received a bit more rain than we have down here, of course, but great to see that the seasons are changing. And soon these dry, arid conditions will hopefully give way to lush green fabulousness for the diet for these animals. Namibia may have a little bit longer to wait, of course, but at least these ellies have got water. This has gone for the full trunk up on the tusk maneuver. Ah, there's the other side of it. One assumes they've already had a drink, and now they're just enjoying a little bit of pool time. Fuzzy Dunlop, you're saying happy Trunk Tuesday, absolutely, and two fine specimens of trunk to start this Tuesday afternoon off with. So 50 also saying good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Guess we have to assume they've already drunk their fill for now. Good afternoon, Catherine. I have Jared in FC today assisting me with camera navigation and sending me all of these lovely messages that you are sending in. And of course, all the wonderful people behind the scenes making this possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. So big thanks from myself, all of you, to the team in FC.
Would you like to see the awesome sight of Africa's biggest tuskers in the shadow of ancient Mount Kilimanjaro? Or a pride of 20 lions hunting in the grasslands of the Masai Mara? Join me, James Hendry, on the unique Kenyan adventure to Amboseli and the Mara. There are only 6 places on this unforgettable safari in May 2025. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear, for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
We have some exciting news. To celebrate our new safari location, Mabula Private Game Reserve, Wild Earth Travel is offering an exclusive special offer for our viewers only. Book a stay for 4 nights or more at any of the lodges on Mabula Private Game Reserve and enjoy an extra night absolutely free. Don't miss this limited time offer. Contact Wild Earth Travel today to claim your discount. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. Chatting around the fire is an ancient practice that has connected humanity for centuries, and we want to keep it alive in our modern age. As an explorer, you'll have access to intimate gatherings with our naturalists, fascinating guests, and experts where we share knowledge, insights, and stories around a crackling fire. Rediscover the power of connection. Sign up to be an explorer today and experience the magic of Wild Earth's fireside chats. Ever dreamt of joining our crew on a live safari? Now's your chance. Book a trip to one of our incredible locations through Wild Earth Travel, and you'll have the exclusive option to join our crew on a live safari. Experience the thrill of real-time wildlife adventures and see what happens behind the scenes. Book now at wildearth.travel and be part of the action. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Spider hunting this year. I've always had a bit of a fascination with spiders. I don't particularly like them. They don't on me. I think they're incredible animals, and I was lucky enough to find a little golden brown moon spider I was in last week. It was rather pretty. And so my first bark spider of the season as well. Still very small. They very, very quickly, of course, as they ecdyse and shed those exoskeletons. And it's funny living for 1 year and starting out school, and within the space of a couple of months will be enormous. Great big orb spiders, particularly in the rain spiders that we get here, enough to put the wigglings up there. Anybody, even if you don't mind spiders, you certainly don't want to find one of them crawling up the back. And I was looking at the Yeah, lovely to see these little springboks wandering through. That's a lovely natural frame. Always a good thing to look for as a wildlife photographer, the way that head of that springbok was being framed in between the front legs and the trunk of the elephant on the left. Quite a powerful tool that you can use with your wildlife photographies, little natural frames like that. Nice sense of perspective. And I see we had a question come through from Gillian V wanting to know whether or not these two boys are likely to stick together or will they end up competing for food. Difficult to say, Gillian, to be honest, but generally speaking, we do find bachelor groups of males that will often hang around together for a while, but they will also wander far and wide on their own. So it's not unusual to see a group of males always together. I think of those ones down at Tenby that we always see together. It's not a very strict social structure as is. It's very flexible in its composition, and they will disappear. But say the more common grouping that you kind of see with regards to males is one big old male and then some younger males, as he is educating them in the ways of adulthood in elephants. But so not unusual to see a couple of boys hanging out together, but it's not like a coalition that you might find in lions or male cheetahs, for example. So remember, elephants are relatively social animals, even though the males not quite as much as the females. I'm sure that they do take some enjoyment and some solace in spending time together. And particularly over the last few weeks of doing this, I've seen lots and lots of interactions between males around waterholes, little, not sparring, but just say tactile communication, let's call it that, touching of trunks and little nudges and nothing remotely considered fighting, but just interactions, more so than I would normally expect to see, whether that's anything to do with the enjoyment of being around the water in these tough times. Well, time will tell, I suppose. But it's nice to think that these two have a bond together. Interesting to know how far back it actually goes. Let me try that again. Sanjeev Roy also agreeing that that trunk suggests he's having a bit of a nap. You can see the eyes of the one on the left, they're mostly closed, and particularly where the trunk is just laid across the ground like that, that's very much sleeping posture for an elephant, or certainly dozy time. And hello, Joe McClellan from Indiana in the US. Greetings to you as well. Glad you could also join us. It's a very relaxing Tuesday, it seems, particularly out there in Safari Hook. Very sleepy eyes. Of course, those eyes convey so much emotion, particularly with elephants. Always a good idea if you can just get a feel for their emotional state by looking at their eyes. A frantic elephant or a stressed elephant will have very wide eyes. We always talk about soft eyes in elephants. Nice thing to look at if one is approaching the car. Other than normal body posture, a good look at the eyes will tell you a lot about the animal's intention or its mood state. Okay, well, I think we're going to stay in Namibia for a while and we'll head over to another area close to Etosha. We'll go and have a look at the camera at Onguma. Oh, beautiful big boy lumbering towards us. What are you investigating? Everybody seems to be going in slow-mo today. Beginning of the week blues, I suppose. David F. Yes, you're saying these desert ellies seem a little bit bigger. Well, it's not unsurprising to see large elephants out in these dry, exposed areas. It's actually a good way to regulate temperature. If you yourself are big, then the difference between your volume versus your surface area, the ratio changes, and it actually takes longer to warm up the insides the bigger you are. You've got a larger volume compared to your surface area of your skin. So you do find some very large elephants in this part of the country. But I agree, they do look quite sort of chunky, don't they? Still amazes me that they're able to find a sufficient amount of food, particularly with their food requirements, hundreds of kilograms a day, 200 or 300 kilograms this time of year, certainly, to get enough nutrition from very low nutritional produce that they're eating now.
Join Wild Earth presenter Amy Krantz for an unforgettable 5-night adventure at Mabula Private Game Reserve. This exclusive tour offers unique safaris, a magical hot air balloon ride, and the rare opportunity to participate in a rhino darting mission. If you want to make lifelong friends and memories, then this one's for you. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Sanjif Roy also saying these look like typical Etosha bulls to you with the small tusks. I agree. There are some theories as to why the tusks are relatively small on these Etosha-based elephants. Lots of suggestions. A lot of the times they do break. They have to do a lot of digging for roots and tubers due to there not being much surface coverage in terms of food. So that can also play a role in keeping them short and a little bit more trimmed. One of the suggestions I've also seen is because of the fluoride levels in the Etosha waterholes, due to the lower rainfall that they get in that area, which leads to sort of crumbly tusks, less strong tusks, so they're slightly more brittle than perhaps the elephants that we would find here in the Lowveld. And so possibly a lack of salt, which may also have an effect on the structure of those tusks. Slankov, you're also asking about dreams in animals and have we ever studied elephant dreams? I'm sure we probably have, Spas, but I don't know of a study, but we're all here to learn, so I shall have a quick look and see if I can find anything out for you and report back. But I would be very surprised if elephants don't dream, just purely from a speculatory point of view, with their advanced brains that we know that they have. Then I see no reason, and particularly memory. There is this idea, of course, that dreaming is a way of cementing memory into sort of the long-term hard drive of an organism. Then it would make perfect sense that elephants do dream. But yeah, I'll have a little scratch around online and see if I can find anything to substantiate that. Okay, let's head back over to Safari Hook and see what those Ellies are up to. Ah, we've got a giraffe cow come down for a drink. One on the left, looking over rather ominously. This is my sleeping spot and my waterhole. But I'm sure they'll tolerate an individual giraffe. Well, Spas, just relating back to your question, I haven't found anything too in depth about elephants dreaming, except what I have discovered is that according to some what I hope to be reliable sources, suggesting that elephants only fall into REM sleep, which is when you would do your dreaming. Oh, look at the dust devil in the background. Every sort of once every only 3 to 4 days. So it's not a regular occurrence, certainly. Yeah, tornado alley behind these ellies. The time I've spent in Namibia, I remember seeing quite a few of these. They are rather weird. Remember trying to find out how or why they occur, just different changes in air pressure close to the surface, but very, very cool to see. And you're wondering if the elephants would scare other animals away from their water. Well, sometimes they do, and they can get fairly possessive. I think, again, a lot of it has to do with their mood state. If they're particularly stressed, then they might become relatively protective over their body of water. But this is a decent sized body of water, and these two bulls look very relaxed and chilled. So they seem to be pretty tolerate tolerant at the moment. But I have seen it before where elephants chase things away. I've even seen elephants chase hippos out of the water that are just quite happily enjoying life in the middle of the dam. So I think a lot of it depends on the individual and the type of mood that they are in or what has happened to them during the day. We all wake up grumpy some days. An elephant bull in must is far more likely to be a little bit more possessive and unnecessarily short-tempered. I don't like to use the word aggressive. I think short-tempered is a little bit of a better description for a musting bull. But yeah, it depends on the individual and depends on the moment. And hello, Joanne Mello, as well. Apologising you didn't say hello to me. I wasn't aware that you hadn't, Joanne, but hi and hi back. Thank you for joining us. Those sleepy eyes. Just skim reading a paper on animals and sleep states and dreams and things. There seems to be lots of examples of animals going into REM versus non-REM sleep, but it doesn't seem that anything that I've found anyway has ever involved us sticking probes in brains and looking for too much EEG activity that would necessarily mean that the brain is firing left, right, and center during these states. I'm surprised that nobody hasn't done it. If that is the case, I'll keep looking because it is interesting. Dreams, they're one of those weird things. We always try and remember our dreams. They're very difficult to do. I wonder if animals do remember their dreams, if they have them, or if they're just fleeting pictures that pop into their heads. But perhaps we shouldn't know. Maybe it's just one of life's mysteries. Let's be honest, we don't understand our own dreams. So I think the chances of us understanding anything about animals' dreams might be a little bit too much to wish for, but interpret them. I look forward to that day if it does happen. Jasmine Flitton, that's an interesting question. You've asked, or you've stated that Ellies are pretty intelligent, and have I ever heard of them influencing other animals' behavior for their benefit? Let me think about that to see if I can give you a real world example. While I cogitate on that, let's head over from Namibia to Botswana to Hyena Pan and see what's happening there. More Ellies. And a little baby. Ah, days are always better with baby elephants in them. Jasmine Flitton, I can't think of an example in my experience whereby I've seen an elephant um, altering the behavior of another animal to its benefit. I'm trying to think what animal it would even want to do that for. It can do most things itself. It doesn't need help reaching to higher points. It can dig holes with its tusks. It's a fairly sort of Swiss Army knife of all the things required out in the bush. I'm sure it would take advantage of another animal's activities, but to actually influence another animal, I'm not sure. I certainly see them influencing each other and teaching each other and bullying others to do their will. The classic example, I have seen a big bull elephant push a younger bull elephant into and through a fence so that he doesn't get zapped by the electric current. It could be the youngster. He's obviously learnt that it's far better to use a sacrificial elephant than himself. But I can't think of an example of an elephant manipulating the behavior of another species. If anybody else has got any suggestions or ideas, by all means, send them through. But I can't think of anything. But right now, I'm slightly distracted with the cuteness of this little one who can't be more than a few weeks old, looking at its size. Tiny little trunk.
Would you like to see the awesome sight of Africa's biggest tuskers in the shadow of ancient Mount Kilimanjaro? Or a pride of 20 lions hunting in the grasslands of the Masai Mara? Join me, James Hendry, on the unique Kenyan adventure to Amboseli and the Mara. There are only 6 places on this unforgettable safari in May 2025. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
At Peridot Optics, we're enthusiasts, explorers, and advocates for unparalleled visual experiences. Our journey is a passion for the outdoors and a commitment to enhancing how you see the world by providing cutting-edge sporting optics personalized for you, your lodge, your business, or your best friend.
Use the promo code seen on screen at the checkout to get your discount today.
We are committed to creating high-quality optical products that deliver clear, immersive views, fostering a deeper connection with nature.
We have some exciting news for our Wild Earth travelers. Book a trip to any of our locations through Wild Earth Travel and you'll get an exclusive dinner with one of our expert guides. Imagine dining under the stars and sharing stories with your favorite Wild Earth presenter. It's the perfect bonus to your dream safari. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Jasmine, will the mother purposely dust bathe the calf? Well, I've never seen one physically sort of specifically spray a calf with dust, but I suppose it will help inadvertently, whether she knows she's doing it or whether it's just habitual behavior and with the little one staying so close, benefiting from it. I'm not sure, but certainly there's been records of mothers placing trunks in mouths and giving water to young ones. I'm not so sure about dust bathing, but I don't see why not. This baby is indeed delightful. Dr. Aristotle Slicer. What a wonderful name. Yeah, you have a drink too, little one. Oh, yeah, I can't think more than a few weeks old, that youngster. What you smelling, Mum? But also looking a bit bony, this older female here. Everybody in dire need of some food. Let's cross fingers for some proper rain soon. They normally drink out of the little concrete, I'm going to call it a well, but it's not a well here. Interesting they're choosing to drink from there. I hope that well is still producing water, or the water is still coming through. Interesting they would be drinking from those little muddy puddles. That's rather un-elephant-like behavior if they have access to fresher water. Oh, but we're going to lie, it's just like a dog. We're going to lie down in a puddle. The easiest way to cool off. Let's see what the female's doing there. It looks as if she might actually be practicing a bit of what we call geophagia, eating soil. She's taking some of that soft soil and putting it in her mouth, possibly to get some salts and some nutrients that she's very much lacking in at the moment. Shelley Owens, yeah, the baby is fuzzy, particularly on the back. I noticed it there as well. Very cute to see. Well, there is the water. Good, it's still full. So yeah, maybe she was doing that just to get some vitamins and minerals from the soil. Look how fluffy. Did you get a fright from Mum's foot there? Sorry, little one. Well, speaking of cute and adorable, it's probably a good time to just mention the Green Season Grand Tour that will be hosted by our very own James Hendry in April, May next year. We are looking for a solo lady traveller to share with another lady. So if you are interested, please do get in contact with us. Group size is only 8 people. There'll be lots of exciting and unique things that you'll take part on. or take part in, and you'll meet plenty of the current and old Wild Earth presenters. You get to experience a rhino collaring, a Two Wild film school workshop, and of course, most importantly, you'll have James as your private guide throughout. So if you are interested in that, please do contact us on the email address that you see below. We would love to host you next year, take you on a in-person visit to some of these wonderful places that you see regularly through these feeds. Just so adorable. Yeah, look how fluffy he still is. He or she, I think it's a she. I haven't seen any evidence to the contrary. Yeah, I think it's a little girl. Intent on having a good scratch on mum's ankle. Ryan, as you pointed out, this is a very angular female, which we would often expect with age. The females in particular do develop that more sort of wedge-shaped head, whereas the males are more rounded as a rule. Always exceptions, of course, to every rule. But I think also age, stress. Well, that was a very, very special encounter. Let's hope that this mum and that little one continue to go well and find sufficient foodstuffs. Let's take a trip right the way down to the coast now and to Stony Point and to the elephant's distant relative of the High. Little fluffy face sticking out of the cracks in the rocks. Oh, one nearly scratched so hard he fell off. Looks like some youngsters, and I'm guessing mum in the middle there looking very proud. It's not often we get to see baby hyraxes. That's rather cute. Beans? Not quite as sure-footed just yet. I've just heard that we've got 8 babies that have been counted so far here in this little group, which is wonderful to see. Oh, I thought we were going to have some suckling. Of course, now I've never seen it, but on assumption that they do share all these physiological characteristics with an elephant, I do believe that the hyrax mammary glands are under the front legs, just like an elephant. Looks as if that youngster had gone in for a little drink before the adult had decided better of it. So that would suggest I'm just doing a quick bit of skim reading on the hyraxes because it's not something we generally talk about too much on average. Oh, reverse. Looks like on average 2, 3, maybe 4 young. So if we've got 8 youngsters running around, one assumes there's been some sort of synchronicity in the births as a defense mechanism against predation, one would assume. So there'll be a dominant male and who will have a few females. So I guess it would make sense that he would have mated with all of them at the same time, and there would be a rather synchronized breeding season. And allosuckling, it seems, is quite common amongst dassies, which would again make sense if all the females have their youngsters around about the same time. Ooh, sleepy yawns. Well, something I've just been surprised about, the gestation period is somewhere close to 8 months, 230 days, which seems a long time for a small animal. But they do come out very well developed and say ready to take their first solid food only within a few days. See, Ryan, you asking about the closest relative comment. Closest relative to elephants is actually the dugongs and the manatees, closely followed by the hyrax. which may sound a little bit weird. Oh, there's a little, looks like a girdled or looks like a girdled lizard or a plated lizard behind that one on the right. But yeah, all to do with tooth structure and foot structure. So being near ungulates as opposed to walking on their tiptoes, walking on sort of extended toes, and the forward growing incisors, just like an elephant. Foot structure and tooth structure and reproductive organs, all quite important in terms of taxonomical relatedness. So the mammary glands under the front legs, etc., etc. Trying to get in for a drink, these two, by the look of it, but they are very, very cute. Jive Bunny, a first for many of us with the nursing Dussies. Yeah, I don't think it's something I've ever seen before. I've never seen Dussie. I don't even know to call them cubs, pups. I don't know what the appropriate terminology is for them. I'm going to go with pup, but I've never seen this out in the wild myself. So normally views of Dussies on a game drive involve binocular views up onto a little kopje or the rocks. I know there are some lodges, one I went to recently in the Waterberg, that did have a little colony of Dussies running around the lodge, but I've never seen baby ones before. Look at the little teeth sticking out. And Rachel, yes, this is ridiculously cute. They're like little fluffy guinea pigs, aren't they? Cross between a guinea pig and a chinchilla. I wonder if that's the male standing there. Just had to do a little bit of checking about the placement of mammary glands on hyraxes. It seems that they do have a pair on their chest, as I suspected, as well as 2 other pairs on the belly. So I'm guessing 6 in total, spread out across the body, but certainly 2 behind the front legs, that sort of pectoral region. Yeah, it seems to be sort of normally 2 or 3 young, perhaps up to 4 per individual, but the way that they do allo suckle, I guess allows for a lot more. But yeah, suckled for up to about 3 months, but as I said, capable of eating solid food within only a few days. Shame this female's getting permanently find the best gland from which to get their milk. Jasmine, you're mentioning their lovely thick coats. They do very, very furry for young individuals, but of course keeping warm is a bit of a problem for hyraxes. They don't do well at regulating their body heat. They love to huddle together in big groups when it's cool. They don't like the rain or cold weather. They do like to warm up in the sun. So despite those big coats, they're not very good at thermoregulating. So almost lizard-like in the way that they need to warm up in the sun.
Would you like to see the awesome sight of Africa's biggest tuskers in the shadow of ancient Mount Kilimanjaro? Or a pride of 20 lions hunting in the grasslands of the Masai Mara? Join me, James Hendry, on the unique Kenyan adventure to Amboseli and the Mara. There are only 6 places on this unforgettable safari in May 2025. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos, and help us to connect people to nature.
Join the Wild Earth Explorers program and connect with a community passionate about wildlife. Support our mission to share authentic wildlife experiences with the world. Your monthly contribution helps provide schools and children access to kids' safaris, fostering a love for nature in the next generation. Embrace the wonders of the bush and make a difference today. Wild Earth, connecting with nature. Ever dreamt of joining our crew on a live safari? Now's your chance. Book a trip to one of our incredible locations through Wild Earth Travel, and you'll have the exclusive option to join our crew on a live safari. Experience the thrill of real-time wildlife adventures and see what happens behind the scenes. Book now at wildearth.travel and be part of the action. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Longer, it's getting a bit higher in the sky now, at least. As the hours roll on, it's getting close to the horizon. So it's a bit of a difficult one when you're taking pictures of something close to the horizon. You're fighting light pollution and dust. So a little bit higher up will be good, even if it is a bit fainter. Hopefully you'll pick up a little bit more detail this evening. It's quite wary, this hyena, though, keeping a good eye out. Perfect, says Rachel. Indeed, a hyena pan, or a hyena in the pan at hyena pan. David V, I can't think of any other predators in this area that swim or wallow. Lions generally and leopards don't like water, but say in certain areas where they've had to adapt up in the Okavango Delta, you do get lions that are quite comfortable in water and will swim across rivers, which they will do here if they have to, but not so much wallowing for enjoyment, put it that way. The only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is a tiger. We know tigers are quite comfortable in water, and they do sometimes just hang out like this in water to cool off on hot days. But I can't think of any other predators. If anyone else knows of any, do let us know. But out here, it's not unusual to find hyenas lying in the water like this. I remember seeing some at Juma with the Juma clan there, lying in the most horrible, fetid, algae, muddy water, looking as if they're having some sort of grotesque spa treatment. But certainly not going to find a lion or a leopard doing that through choice. Does seem a little bit more wary than other hyenas that I've seen just hanging out in the water. Whether he's got a slight concern if there are elephants in the area, particularly that mother with such a young baby would probably not take too kindly to a hyena here. So whether it's the elephants close by that are causing this hyena to look a little bit tentative, perhaps. Ah, Lenny, you've suggested jaguars as well. Yes, jaguars also like water, quite comfortable swimming. And always, I'm sure some of you have seen those amazing videos of them hunting caimans, the little sort of crocodilians that you get out there in South America as well. So that's another good one. Thank you, Lenny. Erica, yes, it looks as if he got there a bit early. Maybe that's why he's worried. He's feeling a little bit silly that he's turned up for the pool party and no one else is there yet. He's wondering where everybody is. But I think it's a pretty good day to spend a hot, pretty good way to spend the heat of the day, that's for sure. Vicky, I don't know about strong swimmers, but they're quite comfortable in water. She saw some footage the other day of hyenas actually having an absolute blast in some relatively deep water, and they were swimming at some point. It seems that it was more sort of an island in the center of the dam, which was a lot shallower than I realized, but it certainly looks as if they were swimming to get there. But they were chasing one another around and jumping on each other, and a couple of them were playing with sticks. Very, very beautiful to see. But I don't know whether you'd call them strong swimmers. I've never officially seen one happily swimming. I remember at Buffelshoek Dam when we had a buffalo in the water there. The hyenas didn't seem too keen on swimming out to it to feed on it. So hard to say. I think they're competent in water. Let's put it that way. But I don't know whether we would call them strong swimmers. Again, a quick search suggests they are good swimmers, but I don't know if they'll be setting any time trial records. Let's leave it at that. It's a nice audio of what sounded like greater blue-eared starlings or similar, but let's head back down to Namibia to Safari Hook. These two elephants really haven't moved very far. At least one's decided to have a drink now. but obviously decided this is a very good place to spend a couple of hours. Deja vu with Springboks walking behind this elephant on the left. It's exactly how we started this afternoon's show.
Wild Earth and BirdLife South Africa are inviting you to join us on a 6-day birding tour to Valgevonden Private Game Reserve.
We have just had our efforts paid off.
Hosted by the world-famous birder John Kinghorn, who is a leader in the global conservation charity BirdLife South Africa.
And what a morning we have had.
This cannot be missed. Book your spot now and help protect bird life. We are thrilled to announce our new exclusive feature for YouTube members and explorers. Join us live every Tuesday for our sunrise and sunset safaris. Experience Tawny Tuesday like never before with up-close encounters and breathtaking moments. Don't miss out. Become a YouTube member or explorer today and immerse yourself in the heart of the bush. See you Tuesday. Chatting around a fire is an ancient practice that has connected humanity for centuries, and we want to keep it alive in our modern age. As an explorer, you'll have access to intimate gatherings with our naturalists, fascinating guests, and experts where we share knowledge, insights, and stories around a crackling fire. Rediscover the power of connection. Sign up to be an explorer today and experience the magic of Wild Earth's fireside chats. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Well, at least this Ellie on the left now looks as if he's woken up sufficiently to have his morning coffee. Quinn, I don't know if they're better adapted for drought. I mean, they are still African elephants, the same species. Whether physiologically they have evolved anything to deal with it, not that I am aware of. Um, I think it's just a more of a genetic thing. As I said earlier, being large is a good thing for particularly dry and arid areas in terms of regulating one's temperature. And possibly a behavioral thing of being able to dig and get more roots and tubers and find moisture underground. But again, I would imagine that's more of a behavioral thing. So certainly no other adaptations. We know that elephants have got this pouch in their throat where they can store a few liters of water under emergency or in an emergency, but that's the same for all African elephants, not just the Namibian ones. So I think it's just really down to genetics. Graham, there are three species of elephant. We have the African elephant, as you can see here, the Indian elephant, which, as the name suggests, occurs in Asia, and then we have the forest elephant up towards Central Africa. So only three species of elephant in the world. Forest elephant's a little bit smaller, with straighter tusks that tend to point down towards the ground. Again, I assume an adaptation for living in far more heavily vegetated foresty areas. You don't want great big tusks catching on everything. Oh, there's a third one. I thought I could hear some splashing. One at the back also looks like he's having a bit of a snooze. David F. No, elephants can't run by strict definition. They can, however, walk very, very fast. They can only lift one leg of their four off the ground at any one time. So even an elephant at full charging speed, which can be close to 40 kilometers an hour, so about 30 miles an hour or 10 meters a second, is still basically power walking at speed. They can't officially run, i.e., have more than two legs off the floor at any one time. They're just too bulky to be able to do that. This one's lost some hair on his tail by the look of it. So no, just very, very efficient power walkers and power walk Faster than you or I could run, that's for sure. These two do look as if they're going through the post-nap routine. We've had some morning coffee, we've had a little bit of a shower. Wonder if it's time to head off to find some breakfast. Wesley, I like that. Yes, looks like they're constantly reflecting on past or future choices. I agree. They remind me a bit of the Ents in Lord of the Rings, taking a very long time to decide to do anything. These two in particular. Considering world events, just slowly. Yes, I agree, Pauline. This little Springbok had found an opening, although they were somewhat felt they were getting glared at by that one on the left. He was watching them very carefully. I wonder if he's also considering coming down for a drink shortly, debating whether or not to chase them off. But I think maybe his evil eye has caused them to put a little bit of distance between them. But he does look as if he's considering coming down. Another big dust devil in the background. I hope they're not smoke.
Back by popular demand, join Danielle Carstens on a photographic safari to Mashatu, Botswana. Spend a night under the stars in our exclusive sleep-out hide, immersing yourself in the wild. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Book now and capture the magic of Mashatu. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive. Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
We have some exciting news for our Wild Earth travelers. Book a trip to any of our locations through Wild Earth Travel and you'll get an exclusive dinner with one of our expert guides. Imagine dining under the stars and sharing stories with your favorite Wild Earth presenter. It's the perfect bonus to your dream safari. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
David V, I wouldn't say elephants are hit hardest by drought. Certainly they will feel the brunt of it, but it's difficult to say what's going to get hit hardest. I mean, one in the foreground, the waterbuck, do require decent amounts of water because they sweat an awful lot and they lose an awful lot of moisture through sort of daily activities. Something like a hippo is something that springs to mind, who's obviously very dependent upon enough water to go around. I know warthogs also struggle a lot during drought. Buffalo require plenty of water, being very water dependent, having to drink twice a day. I've no doubt elephants struggle as well, but in terms of what is most readily affected, I know warthogs do often have a massive die-off during drought periods, and I always feel for the hippos more than anything else. Erica, yeah, that is, as far as I know, a true fact that elephants in the wild live much longer than captive raised or captive kept elephants. I think there are various reasons as to why. Obviously, the prevalence of more potential pathogens and diseases in those situations, and the elephant's lack of ability to self-medicate, to know in its own body what it requires, and the ability to go out and to find whatever minerals or vitamins or, in inverted commas, medication is required for whatever the particular ailment or deficiency that it is feeling. Obviously, doesn't have the ability to do that in captivity. And I think also just the lack of, or from a psychological or a mental capacity, being such a social animal, to be removed from those social bonds and those social interactions. I don't want to say that it's down to depression or anything like that, but I think that certainly would also have an effect. Whether there are any other physiological reasons, I'm not 100% sure, but yes, it is fairly well documented that elephants live a lot longer in the wild than they do in captivity. And Shelley, no, elephants don't use birds to remove pests. They don't like oxpeckers. They swat them off with their trunks. They don't really rely on anything else to remove parasites and pests from their skin. They seem to be quite adept at doing it themselves, or they tolerate what they have already got. But their propensity for dust bathing and spraying mud and water on themselves and having a good scratch against the trees seems to be an efficient enough way to deal with those ectoparasites. But never seen oxpeckers on elephant, although I think I did see one actually at the Old Donier waterhole a month or two ago on one of the live waterhole broadcasts, where we did see an oxpecker just hitching a ride on the back of an elephant. So, as always in nature, never say never, but it's not an association that we would normally have with those two species. Rosie Adams, yeah, up in the Congo, you're going to get forest elephants. I don't believe there are savanna elephants up there, but I couldn't say for sure one way or the other. But definitely one of the strongholds for forest elephants. And you're asking about elephants traversing mangroves. I don't know, unfortunately. Yeah, I wouldn't like to comment on that. Unsure of mangrove traversing and elephants, but definitely up in Congo there is well, it's hard to say a good population of forest elephants, but there are definitely forest elephants up in the Congo. Apparently, 20% of Africa's forest elephant population are found in the Congo. Yes, Graham, you're mentioning the colour difference. Of course, that's just all to do with the soil. You can see the reddish iron-rich soil in the background there. So that elephant has obviously been having a bit of a dust bathe somewhere in an area where the soil is a bit different. This soil a lot more leached of those nutrients, a lot paler, whiter in coloration. So as always, most of these large animals, rhinos, elephants, hippos, they're all this sort of fairly uniform slate grey colour, and differences will come about by the type of soil that they are habitating in, living in, or utilising. There we go. Gabby, I'd also love to see a forest elephant in real life, but I think so they're somewhat hard to track down these days. If I remember rightly, only somewhere between 1 and 200,000 forest elephants left in the world. They are critically endangered, mainly due to habitat loss and the destruction of the heavily forested areas, particularly in and around Central Africa. So you and me both, Gabby, you and me both. Maybe one day. Quinn, you pointed out that little growth on the elephant in the middle, the browner one. Difficult to know what that is. Whether it's an old injury, most likely it's some form of abscess. Maybe you got a little branch or something stuck in there and it's swollen up. But to me, that looks like an abscess. Have to see. Seems to be moving okay. Doesn't look to be any issue with the joint itself. So
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now. Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
Ever dreamt of joining our crew on a live safari? Now's your chance. Book a trip to one of our incredible locations through Wild Earth Travel and you'll have the exclusive option to join our crew on a live safari. Experience the thrill of real-time wildlife adventures and see what happens behind the scenes. Book now at wildearth.travel and be part of the action. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
As Andy Frank didn't know, forest elephants are much smaller than African elephants, which are bigger than Indian elephants as well. So, if memory serves correctly, forest elephants, I think, get to a maximum of about 4 or 5 tons, whereas the savannah elephant can get to well, 6 or 7 tons for a big male, but generally smaller and a little bit shorter at the shoulder height. And those long straight tusks, very diagnostic as well of the forest elephant. Also more rounded ears and apparently a hairier trunk, which I assume would be for sensory abilities in much thicker, darker forest. It would make sense to have more evolved sensory adaptations for those darker and more claustrophobic environments. Nice to see a bit of diversity of animal life here at Tau with the waterbuck, zebra. We saw some wildebeest earlier, plenty of ellies around. But we're going to head back over a little bit further west to Namibia and Safari Hook and see what those elephant bulls are up to. Well, they've moved slightly. They've come closer together. But very impressive animals, these, certainly. Sounds like there might be another one enjoying the water, looking at the ripples as well. Here he comes. Right on cue. They do grow them big here, Graham. Yeah, some impressive elephants in this part of the country. Magnificent specimens. Indeed, Jasmine, a council meeting. Yes, it does look like a meeting of minds, doesn't it? Some stories to swap, some experiences that have been had amongst this bunch, I would think. A few hundred years worth of bush knowledge to share. We're down to the last couple of minutes. Wesley, you're very welcome. I'm glad you've enjoyed our, as you put it, Ellie-centric waterhole show. And I agree with you completely that I think we have to say the highlight of the day was those Dussies down at Stony Point. I think a first for me to see little Dussie. I'm still going to go with pups, but running around like that, fabulous to see them suckling and all the energy in their fuzzy little coats. That was really beautiful, and I have to say that little tiny Elliot hyena pan was also just adorable. I'm sending them lots of rain dances and rain wishes so they get some food soon because they did look a little bit hungry up there in Bots. And very nice to see the hyena as well enjoying the water. But this little group of Ellies has also been wonderful entertainment, and I agree, some really, really impressive specimens of elephanthood here. But it is down to the inside the last minute now, so thanks very much as always for joining us. I'll be back again tomorrow from 12:30 until 2:30 Central African time. So let's hope for more rain for a bit of respite for these animals. Although if we had a little bit of clear skies this evening so I can get some more pics of that comet, that would also be acceptable. But enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, everybody. And I very much hope that you can join us. Send us more questions and comments tomorrow. But have a great day, and we will catch up with you all very, very soon.